Yeah, so let's just start the talk. And like I said, that this is not any kind of presentation. The topic is there. Is it possible to reignite flirting in a committed relationship? That is the topic for today. And we normally start with someone saying something about it, raising a question or making a comment, and then we just see how the conversation flows from there. So, if anyone wants to say anything, lead the conversation in some way, just start or just share whatever. So, feel free to do that. Kumar, you want to say something?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, very clear. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. So the topic is about, is it possible to reignite flirting in a committed relationship? So I had this personal question, on a personal window with Sachin. When you say committed relationship, is it with our own partner or it could be somebody else as well? So, so is it really possible that I'm just throwing some questions because who doesn't like this thing and um, so is it really possible to seek that flirting even when you're in a committed relationship by somebody else?
Right. That's a very good question. I like that question when you asked me, and I was, I thought that we would most likely go in that direction. So it seems like we are starting with. So
Something which is happening in my life recently, so I thought I'll just.
why again? I'll start with what I think, and then whoever wants to say whatever they can say in this as well. So I feel that uh, everybody has the right to flirt with another person. So it's not, we cannot stop the word. So let's say even if I'm in a committed relationship and someone wants to flirt with me, I can't stop the other person from doing that. So they will do it. And people find other people attractive, and they, pass some nice comments or many times the flirting is not like a sleazy pervert type flirting. The flirting could be very classy, could be very sophisticated, very nice. Just appreciating another person, their behavior, their looks, or whatever. So, not all flirting is all about just having sex with another person only. So, there are many versions of flirting, and people show their admiration about the other person in that way. So, people will do that. Someone is doing that. So, I don't really see that is even a problem to solve, because how can I stop the whole world from doing it? Uh, and if I can't stop the whole world from doing it to me, if someone is doing it to my partner also, then what can I do? I mean, at the end of the day, that's how it is. That's how it is. People will flirt. So that's what I think.
I just have a question for Kumar. I just needed some more clarity on this. So, Kumar, you're saying that uh, uh, is it right or wrong? Like you flirt with somebody else other than the committed relationship, or somebody else does it to you, like, or
Yes,
both
that's.
ways?
It could be both ways.
Okay, okay,
So I answered it from the second point of view. When somebody is flirting with you, I answered the question. I interpreted the question that way, and I answered it from that point.
right. So, Kumar, just one more question from my side. That is, are you trying to point towards that? Can flirting with somebody outside the committed relationship be treated as cheating or something? Was it pointing towards that?
Uh, yes, something like that. Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hmm. No,
So,
we
so
yeah, we
I
cannot answer right or wrong. It's for you and
Right.
anybody
I
else to decide.
so I will answer for myself in the sense that, let's say when I'm in a when I'm in a committed relationship, if someone is flirting with me, I see that that's their right. I can't stop another person from flirting. But if I'm responding back to it, then then again, not so much from a right or wrong perspective, because I need to look at that why I'm responding. So if there could be many different reasons for me to respond back. Um, if I am not happy in my current relationship, if I'm not satisfied with the level of intimacy and harmony I have in my current relationship, I might respond back to the other person's ways. Or there could be many other reasons. So this is very hard for me to just characterize it as a yes, no, or black and white in that way. But given that, let's assume all factors are taken care of. If I'm very happy in the relationship that I have with my partner, if I feel very good in that relationship, personally, I wouldn't even feel the need to respond to it. That's just my personal thing. So not even yes or no or a right or wrong thing is just something which I wouldn't even feel the need to respond. So I would acknowledge that someone is doing this, and I will probably be okay that okay, like someone is appreciating, someone is admiring. So I'm okay with that. But I would not encourage it. I would not encourage it from my side to lead that person in any way. If I'm happy with what I have, that's how I would see it.
Yeah,
Thanks. Thanks.
I'll add on to what Sachin is saying. There is one more, angle to this. Like for an example, Sachin was at a party a few days ago, and we were just talking about his friends. And there was one guy, and they also had a friend who was a girl, and that guy is married and is very happy in his relationship. But they were just, flirting out of friendship, and there was a lot of clarity in the situation that nobody is interested in nobody, but it was just happening out of fun. So the difference between this and that is that when it is serious, like you're leading somebody, and other times when both the people are aware that nobody is leading anybody in any direction, but it's just like, out of the situation, just like random things, your friends, and you're just talking. So these two scenarios, there is no strict rule. So there are more factors to be looked into, like in which situation you are in.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, Shalabh, you want to say something?
Shalabh, you are on mute.
Hi, Anamika. Can you recall the mail that I'd sent you probably yesterday or day before, where I said, given the topic that we have, why should flirting stop even if you are in a committed relationship? So I'll just give you an example. I've been married, happily married, for 22 years. So I go for my morning walk. So today, when I see that flower shop daily, but today, just out of thing, I got a bouquet made and got it and gifted it to my wife. So it was not. There's nothing, no occasion as such that was there to gift that particular thing. It just came to my mind. Okay, let me do this. So I did it. Flirting per se. I only talk about myself. I am no one to judge anyone else what he or she is doing. When it comes to the example Sachin was giving, we find too many people attractive. I've got so many seniors on Facebook. My school friends who are seniors, and one of them is particularly beautiful, and she posts so many beautiful pictures on the Facebook, Insta, etc. And we talk sometime, and I openly tell her that I find your pictures very beautiful. I'm not flirt. If you really look at it in that way, I'm not flirting with her, or I'm not trying to get into her relationship with her. She's beautiful. I'm just telling her that she's beautiful. That's it.
Yeah, that's more like a
Period.
compliment.
Yeah, it's period. Nothing more, nothing less.
Right. Absolutely. And flirting doesn't have to stop after marriage. That is the whole point. But unfortunately, for most people it does. After, like, we hear words like boredom and monotony in relationships too often in relationships. And that is an unfortunate part. And yeah, so let's see where we can go in this conversation further. Priyanka, you want to add something to this?
Not adding, I just wanted to know, like, there are so many things which are coming out right now. Like, people are saying that sometimes we just give some appreciation, or we just comment on the beauty in itself. So how you can define a flirting? First question, like, how I will know that a person is doing flirting, or he is just complimenting on whatever things, like, maybe.
Right, right. I mean, as women, it
Yeah.
is also unfortunate on our part, because, like
Yeah.
𝗕𝗹𝗿 said, so he's just complimenting his friend, right? But
Yeah, yeah.
unfortunately, most women even take, that compliment very offensively. And
No, but
it's
yeah, wanted to know, like, how it goes. What you can say, like, is the exact term of flirting, and how should we as a woman know that a person is flirting? Sometimes if a person is flirting, we take it as just normal appreciation, and sometimes vice versa,
yeah.
like what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, that happens very often. So there could be just simple cues, as far as I have experienced in my life. So if somebody just compliments me, I am happy about that compliment. And
Yeah.
I mean, the words actually really differ when you compliment somebody and when you um, you know try to flirt or hit on somebody, or trying to lead the conversation somewhere else. So and the second part which I have observed is that compliments, they just have a full stop, like 𝗕𝗹𝗿 used the word period. So the compliment is like that. You don't go on chasing the person after that. I mean, you can just have, a conversation, maybe just out of random some topic, maybe some science or something you're interested in. You can talk about that. But if it is actually flirting, then you will see that it just goes in, a different direction, which is kind of, leading to a different place where you feel that you need to answer something. Yeah, so that's how I have experienced it.
I would also say that compliment is just is there is no transaction in it. It's just done and it's finished.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
flirting will have the element of a transaction that the other person is expecting something, and and that could be they want to lead this somewhere. They want a response back, and they want to lead this somewhere. And not all flirting could be wrong. Also, maybe
Hmm.
they may be serious about pursuing a relationship, and they may be serious about things as well. And so it could be from anywhere from uh, having the expectation of making a serious relationship with someone to just having casual sex with someone. So it could be anywhere in between as well. That but it will definitely have an element of some kind of transaction in it. Pankaj, you've raised your hand. You want to say something?
Yeah. So yeah, I was listening to all of you, and see, it all depends upon how do we define flirting, and each one of you have said differently. To me, flirting is not so much of what you do, like what you mentioned, like giving a compliment or just appreciating someone genuinely. I don't even prefer to call it flirting. That anyway you should do all the time to anybody of any age, of you know whatever sex, the either opposite sex or the same. So yeah, that's a natural part of our being, that we appreciate and compliment whenever we find something worth complimenting. To me, flirting is more about the intentions, that why you are doing that. So as 𝗕𝗹𝗿 has mentioned, if it is no intention, it is just period, then it is just a normal act. I mean, it's perfect. I don't see why would we even call it flirting. Flirting is, to me, is when you have intention to do something else, to maybe take the relationship to the next level, or in some way, not. So that I would call, and that is something, as each one has to decide in their own lives, that what is right for them, and does it make sense, and will it make them happy, or in longer term or in short term. So that I will lead to the person. I would perhaps take it to the other direction where you say that how to or is it possible to reignite? So it's when you're talking of reignite, I think you're talking of a committed relationship where you're already in a committed relationship for a long time, and as 𝗕𝗵𝗿 was telling, it is getting like monotonous or boring or something, and then you feel like there is a need of reigniting the flirting with your committed partner, and that's absolutely a beautiful idea, and there's nothing wrong. As I think someone was it 𝗕𝗹𝗵𝗿 or some who said it's just a flower to their partner, and it's just a act of random act of you can call it what you used to do it before you were committed or something. But my own personal experience is that more, especially after a long period of time, it goes beyond that flirting phase. I think it goes much deeper. That relationship is much deeper, where you don't feel like, again, it's more of a word and how you use it. There is, personally, I don't feel a need of flirting. So being interested, that is much, to me, flirting is a little lighter word, and our relationship becomes much more deep, where we kind of know and trust each other so much that we don't feel a need of that somebody needs to flirt to get our attention or to keep us engaged, or that need itself, the question doesn't come to our mind. So yeah, that's my take on this.
Yeah, thanks, Pankaj. And I think the conversation today probably is better to also focus on the healthier side of flirting. So we have talked about the some of the negative aspects of flirting as well, which exist. But today's conversation is more about reigniting flirting, which where we are saying that there are healthier aspects of it as well, because it is playful in nature. When it is done in a nicer way, when it is not done in a manipulative way to get something out of another person and all that, when the intentions are good, and when that is done, it is quite playful to do as well as to receive. So both people enjoy it quite a lot, that the person who's receiving it also feels good, and the person doing it also feels good. So it has a playful aspect to it as well, and that is the aspect which we are focusing on today when we say how can we reignite it in a committed relationship. So now we bring the focus back to the committed relationship. If we have covered all the outside parts of it, that we've talked about, what if outside people doing this, what if this is happening, I am focusing on outside. Yeah, so I think that is always there, but today the question was more about how we can focus on this thing in a committed relationship when two people are committed to each other. So any points to share on that by anyone?
Okay, I'm going again here. Like 𝗕𝗵𝗿 mentioned, after sometimes people find a committed relationship getting boring or say dull kind of. Well, it depends on both the person. First of all, you'll have to be like Pankaj was mentioning, your relationship as it say passes, as years are built into your relationship, it gets much deeper. Yes, and to keep it on a healthier side, on a lighter side, some amount of flirting. it could be very simple, very little thing. Like Sachin is mentioning, it should be the lighter part of it. So both the partner need to understand that, and probably do small acts, simple acts, making a cup of tea for your spouse. I'm just talking about myself, so it is spouse, no one else. So making a cup of tea any time of the day, And she's just come back. She does tuition, so she's just come back from tuition. So you say, okay, let me make a cup of tea for you, or anything else that you need to do. I mean, why should? I mean, I find it really tough. Yes, what Anamika mentioned, that probably the relationship gets stale or dull or something, but I find it difficult to imagine why. Because if you make an effort, I don't think any relationship can go dull or can become stale. Just have to be committed to the relationship and keep it nice and young. It can be deep, it can be very committed, very, I mean, no one can probably break it or something, but there should be some fun element too. And that's my take at least. And whatever I need to do, yes, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Shalabh. That is great.
Thanks for sharing that, 𝗖𝗹𝗿. And by the way, guys, I'm single. I'm not in a committed relationship, so I cannot talk much about the committed relationship. But I just want to know that there are so many committed relationships which I see are dysfunctional. When I say dysfunctional, forget about flirting. If they don't fight, it would be a great thing between themselves. So, how can how can somebody really reignite? I mean, I would like to listen from relationship coach Anamika or Sachin out there. How can one really do that? Because I see so many families around. It could be my friends, relatives, my colleagues, uh, who are really in a not so good shape. I don't say it's worst, but definitely मतलब वो बोलते ना हिंदी में कि बीच में घास डाले तो आग लग जाती है टाइप. So how can somebody change from fighting to flirting? Thanks.
When Shalabh was talking about when he was sharing his comments, one thing that I picked from what he was talking about is that we have been talking about these love languages for some time in the group, and he was sharing that making a cup of tea, and that. So I was hearing that part, which is the love language of some people is service. So it could be his love language, or it could be his partner's love language, which he's doing and he's finding it good. So that's that. However, I think flirting goes much beyond than just this, making each other feel comfortable and all that. Flirting is about making the other person desirable, making them feel that they are still desired, and this is coming from a physical intimacy point of view, and even emotional intimacy as well, that making them feel that they are desired, they are sought after, still find them attractive. So I guess that is the angle which I would like to take in terms of flirting, rather than we see that as a generic thing of doing service to our partner or helping them out in their chores or doing something nice to them or taking them out for a trip or something like that. That's fine, and many marriages are even struggling on that level also. So I acknowledge that part also, that many marriages are struggling even on that basic level also. But even that is not happening. So here we are taking that to another level, that how we can make two partners feel desirable for each other. Because when two partners are not feeling desirable for each other, definitely somebody else outside will feel them as desirable. And that is when we started this conversation. We said that people will always flirt. Outside people will always flirt. The question is, why am I responding? That is a bigger question to answer. That people will always flirt. They have the right to flirt. As somebody out there will find another person desirable and attractive. But if I am responding to it, then that is a question for me to answer. That why am I finding that thing good? So, and I know the answer is that obviously everybody finds this thing good. Who wouldn't? But then it is showing a lack in the current relationship. it is showing something is missing, something that is a desire that is there, that one partner wants to feel desired and all that, and the other partner is not able to give them. They may be very good in terms of service and making them feel very comfortable and helping them out in the chores and all that. That is all good. But at the end of the day, two people in marriage are not just two friends. They are not just two human beings trying to make each other's life comfortable. Two people who are married, there is an intimacy level attached to it as well. So we can't just only become friends with our partner. Although it's a good thing, I don't deny that we should be friends with our partner. That is definitely the case. But only becoming partner with our friend, with our partner, and then totally ignoring the intimacy part of it, what is then what happens to that? Because let's say if husband and wife are not friends with each other, but they have good intimacy between each other, then that's fine. Husband and wife can find friendship outside also. But if husband and wife are very good friends and they don't have physical and emotional intimacy, then where they are going to go? Are they going to find that outside somewhere? So what is it that we are trying to create is the question over here, that what is the intention behind this? Are we making our partner feel desirable? Is our partner feel making us feel desirable? So do they do things, and do they you know comment or talk to us in a way that we still feel that we are desired? And do we do that to our partner as well, or we just take each other for granted कि अभी तो शादी को इतना टाइम हो गया, अभी तो सब पता होना चाहिए ना, अभी भी थोड़ी बताना होता है कि आई लव यू? अभी तक पता नहीं चला कि अगर 25 साल हो गए शादी को, 30 साल हो गए, तो अभी तक पता नहीं चला कि आई लव यू, तो अभी क्या बोलना है इसको? एंड things like that. So those are some of the things which get missed. So when Kumar, you were asking, it's that factor. I feel ki the element of start taking each other for granted and start feeling like हाँ ये तो पता ही होना चाहिए ना, ये तो पता ही है, ये तो है ही, तो इसको क्या बार बार करना है, इसको क्या बार बार बताना है, तो इसको क्यों मतलब if the couple starts feeling as if they are doing something for each other, and this is like they are trying to prove to the other person that, then they are missing the point. It's not about proving, it's about expressing. It's like कि आप अगर आप पूजा भी करते हो तो मंदिर में जाके 40 साल से अगर पूजा कर रहे हो रोज जाके, तो क्यों कर रहे हो? वाई आर यू? तो रोज क्यों भगवान के आगे दिया जलाते हो? तो रोज क्यों पूजा करते हो दिन में 2 बार? क्या भगवान को आज तक पता नहीं चला कि आप उनकी पूजा करते हो? तो फिर कर देती थी ना, दो एक थोड़ा टाइम करने के बाद यू वुड जस्ट से ना, अभी तो पता तो है भगवान को कि मैं उनको मानता हूँ, उनकी पूजा करता हूँ, तो फिर मैं क्यों रोज कर रहा हूँ? तो क्यों रोज करते हैं फिर? वाई डू यू सेलिब्रेट दिवाली एवरी ईयर? वाई डू यू सेलिब्रेट क्रिसमस एवरी ईयर? तो पता नहीं चल गया अभी तक क्या कि वो है, बट यू स्टिल सेलिब्रेट इट. तो वाई डोंट यू सेलिब्रेट other things as well the same way? Why the continuity is not there in this case? Why this becomes taken for granted? I'll just stop here for now.
Yeah, I'll just add on further to what Sachin was saying. So there are different people with different kind of relationship which they desire, like. But as we use the word commitment, we are talking about. So we are just talking about monogamous relationships. People who we are already going forward with an assumption that all the people here, or they are interested in committed relationships. Now the thing is that when it comes to committed relationships, um, they start wherever they do, when there is a lot of spark, when it is going on, the honeymoon period which is going on, and we are happy and we are exploring, because there is a lot of unexplored area within each other. And then later on, when it comes to it boils down to 2 years, 4 years, 5 years down the line, and the relationship goes deeper. So we are talking about like relationships which are already in the good space. So we are not even touching, the toxic relationships and all the patterns, because that becomes a different tangent. So let's suppose they are good and they are deeper, and there's a lot of intimacy that has gotten developed. Now the thing is that in committed relationships there is one aspect which we share with our partner, and we do not share it with anybody in the world, and that is the sexual element. Yes, there are other elements like the intellectual intimacy, the emotional intimacy, the spiritual intimacy, all kinds of all different sorts of things. We can have it differently in our relationship, or maybe we can have friends or whatever, but the sexual part is something which becomes this one thing which is shared in this relationship. And now, when it comes to flirting, so flirting is again not like Sachin was saying about just um, just doing things for each other or just making each other feel good, but it actually is about keeping the desire for this particular part um, alive. So the sexual element is a very, very important element in this relationship, because this is something we're not sharing with anybody else in the world. And it is just sacred to our partners and in between us. So for that to be alive, flirting is both the cause and effect of it. So in a healthy relationship, um, there can be like the sexual life can be very intense and intimate and everything, but it also has to be light at times so that the balance remains. That is what it is about. What makes it beautiful is because like we talk about making love 24/7. So we are even working on this thing, and we are making. So how would you make love 24/7? You're not on your bed for 24/7. You cannot be there. It's not possible. So then how does that 24/7 come into picture? And that is possible, and that can be done. And that is where flirting comes in a committed relationship, because it has to be like a play of creating that space where you are not involved and being separate, and not involved in anything, but just out of physical touch, or words, compliments, or maybe just using a sentence like I'll just give an example. I can do that, but I would be happy if you could do that for me, because you do it in a certain way which makes me feel this way, or which makes me feel um, attracted to you, or anything like that. So when we use these kind of things, the other person, there's a certain element which comes back to the relationship, which fills it in with that kind of spark. So because that is what is actually going to, this lighter element, this fun element in the relationship is going to make the intense element even more intense and intimate and beautiful. So you cannot be in one phase all the time. There are two basic human needs. First is certainty, and the second one is variety. Now the thing is that the relationships become so certain for us, so consistent for us, that most people go on searching for variety outside of the relationship, right? But now the point is that the sexual part you're sharing just with your partner. Now that part also has to have consistency and variety. So how do you do that? So before there is so much of closeness and so much of, just a moment, so much of closeness and so much of intimacy, there has to be space. And that space does not mean that you go start living in different houses. That space actually increases the attraction between two people. That space is something where flirting comes into picture. Just passing on like a nice comment to your wife or your husband, or just you're just going somewhere else and you just snuggle around, or you just bring something like something which could give them the message. Like, I don't know how many of you have read Kama Sutra or are aware of it, But if you go on reading about it, that book is less about sex positions which people have made it about. It's not that. That is just one chapter of the book. The book is about the art of seduction in the way, like you, so that you can make love 24/7, and the way you communicate, the way you put out the word with your partner. So that book is not just about that, because that sexual intimacy is not about having an intercourse and having sex. It's not about coitus. It's about being in that space of flow where there's a dance going on. There's a dance going on actually always between two partners. And even if they're separate for an intention together, creating that space. So that is what it actually looks like, and that is why it is important. Now, this doesn't have to be important for everybody, right? There can be different kind of people, but for a healthy relation, because there would be different kind of relationships, because there are different kind of people and we all want different things. But as most people are desiring that connection, and when we talk about healthy relationships, so there could be people who don't want to be in such relation. That's fine. There's no judgment for them. But those who want to, this is a very important element, because in a committed relationship, this is a sacred part that you only share with your partner. And this part also has to be very healthy. Even in fact, in these kind of relationships, there are people who have gone way past sex. They're not even thinking about it, talking about it, or even doing it. But there, because the sexual energy is there in everything, you cannot get rid of it. You have learned now to experience that orgasmic flow in different ways, and that expands and expands. But we will not get into that and talk about that a lot. Maybe in some other call. But it's not about sex. Likewise, flirting is one beautiful element of a healthy relationship. That's yeah, that's all.
Great. I just want to know, like, anybody wants to comment anything on what they have heard so far?
No, Sachin. Thanks.
People who have not talked yet. Albin, Pragya, Vikesh, Mini, any comment?
What Anamika said is absolutely right. That flirting has nothing. Means flirting is something different. The flirting normally everyone does or everyone wants to it. There is nothing. There is nothing guilt factor in that. If I am committed, I am miss. If I'm flirting with someone else, it's not. It's not a guilt factor. It's a human nature that it's. You can take it in a good way. If we start doing with our partner, it will that relationship will go some to another level. I think so, and it's very much important to make his or her important like this. This is one of the flirting is one of the good thing which we can reignite. We should reignite with each other.
And one of the ways which I can share, like I can say from my side, one of the things which can be tried out. So I'm not going to say exactly, but just a thought is कि by psychology we know that men like to chase, and women, they like it when men are chasing them. So this is very very well known fact, right? So ये जो रनर चेजर वाला जो ये सिनारियो है, ये कहीं ना कहीं बहुत टाइम के बाद अगर कोई रिलेशनशिप में खत्म हो जाता है, सो ऐसे लगता है कि अभी अभी क्या करना, अभी तो शादी हो गई ना, अभी तो अभी थोड़ी रनर चेजर का कुछ ऐसे ज़रूरत है, तो अब तो हो गया, तो बट दैट नीड, दैट डिजायर इज स्टिल अलाइव, अभी भी तो हैं, तो ह्यूमन बीइंग्स ही ना, सो that thing is there. So when somebody outside of the marriage, they try to do that, people will feel good about it, but then they also feel very guilty about it, and they feel very shameful about it कि ऐसे वो अपने पार्टनर से इसके बारे में बात करने में थोड़ा सा कतराएंगे कि ऐसे किसी ने मेरे को इस तरह का कॉम्प्लीमेंट दिया या ये किया, अच्छा तो लग रहा है, राइट, दे आर एंजॉयिंग इट, but then they are also feeling guilty about it कि ये गलत हो रहा है, ऐसे लग रहा है कि गलत है। ये सब क्यों है? क्योंकि why we could double standards है ना, क्योंकि ये नीड तो है हमारी, हम चाहते हैं कि ऐसा हो, लेकिन जहाँ से होनी चाहिए वहाँ से पूरी हो नहीं रही है। तो जब कहीं और से ऐसे मिलता है तो वो गलत लगता है कि दिस इज रॉन्ग बिकॉज आई एम इन अ कमिटेड रिलेशनशिप, आई एम मैरिड एंड आई शुडंट बी हैविंग दिस काइंड ऑफ थॉट्स, आई शुडंट बी लाइकिंग दिस इफ समवन हैज गिवन मी दिस काइंड ऑफ कॉम्प्लीमेंट एंड इफ आई एम लाइकिंग दिस देन इट्स रॉन्ग एंड ऑल दैट। तो ये सब थॉट्स हैं which is fine, which is fine. So we're not going to go in those details, but what we are saying is that this is human nature. We know कि people like this, so why not start doing it to your own partner? Why not just have this playful game of running and chasing with each other, and just play it for some time? So just you don't have to like do anything. Just play this game for few days, for few weeks like this, and just create that desired factor that the person feels कि I'm still worth to be chased, and the other person feel that yes, I you that much attractive that I would like to chase you as well. So creating that game within the relationship can really enhance the connection between two people. That's all from my side on this.
Yeah. Anybody has any question or they want to add anything, any perspective? You can just unmute and talk.
Hello, everybody. This is 𝗕𝗹𝗿 here. I'm not sure if this was covered or not because I just joined like 10 minutes ago. But the how aspect of it as well, like, so how do you do the chasing? Like a lot of us who have arranged marriage and never really actually went through that flirting phase, we find it really difficult of how to initiate it and how to get it started.
Yeah, that's
Right.
a good question. Yeah. So I shared one point, and yeah, Namta, go ahead.
No, please, if there's anything you want to say.
No, I was just saying that I just shared one point just before Vaibhav asked that question, that I was saying create that factor where just create a game within you. So and this is not something you have to like talk out or plan or anything. You just create it in your own head and start playing it with your partner. So just start playing it as if you are chasing them, and just play the game. Just create it in your own head and see. It could sound very funny in the beginning. It could sound quite weird to your partner also. क्या हो गया अचानक से and all that. So yeah, just go past those hesitations क्योंकि first time करोगे तो अजीब ही लगेगा, कभी किया नहीं, खुद को भी अजीब लगेगा, पार्टनर को भी अजीब लगेगा, but just do it with your wife and just think of something in your own head and just do it. I think that's the only thing that is going to go past the hesitation.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amita, you go.
Yeah. So um, it could be as simple as, like you're sitting in your office and maybe your wife is sitting in her office and you just, text her that I'm thinking about you and I miss you so much, and or maybe you are at home and she's outside and you're going to take baths. So you tell her that I'm going for a shower. So anything. You can add a sexual element to it. You cannot add a sexual element to it. There was one couple I was talking to. So the thing was that the wife was complaining that there's nothing in the middle of the sexual part. So either it is like it goes in the direction of complete sex, it ends up there, or it's just nothing. There is no touching in between. So I would rather prefer, sometimes we just hold our hands and or maybe just one person is doing something, maybe their work, and out spontaneously, spontaneity is one very important factor. You just spontaneously go and hold their hands, or maybe give them a kiss. And what else? Eye gazing could be one very important practice, because most people don't look into the other person's eye when they're talking, but this is so important to develop that connection. So looking into their eyes, and just whenever they are talking, giving them undivided attention. So eye gazing can have different aspects. Like maybe when we go for an interview, it will create an impact, that how involved and how focused we are in the conversation. But just like when you're with your romantic partner, the same thing is going to feel differently to them. So I don't know if you already do this, but if you can try this out with your partner, that whenever she's talking, so you look at her, and you look at her, like gaze onto her. You can just compliment her, in front of maybe your family, and you can just praise her. So small things. It's not anything big. There is no such big thing. It has to come out of you. Spontaneity is a very important element in this, because it has to come. Actually, if you plan and do it, I'm not sure how it can be, it will happen. But anything, I mean, anything that could make her feel special. Special is a very good word, because everybody wants to feel special, right? And we are special to other people as well. But as we talked about a monogamous relationship, then there's a different kind of feeling special which comes in this relationship. So how can you make your partner feel desirable and special, and how you can tell them that you know this is really valuable, this thing which I get only from you and which I share only with you, this is special for me. So it can be just anything. Yeah, and that's all I'm getting in my head. Sachin, anything else you can add?
Yes, one other thing is, let's say, for example, if you have kids, pets. So let's say if you want to sit on the couch with your wife and cuddle her and watch a movie or something. Sometimes it happens that if you have kids or pets, then they will see you both cuddling and they would want to come and sit in between. Um, Avoid that. So make them understand also that sometimes it's okay, but not all the time as well. So set some healthy boundaries, set some healthy rules around these things, and make your partner also feel that they matter as well. Sometimes it's okay. Sometimes if the kids come and they sit in between, or if the pet comes and sit, that's okay. But not every time that is happening and you are entertaining it, then I'm sure your wife will also understand yeah, that's their kids also, their pets also. But as a human being, over time, we start to lose that feeling of being special. ऐसे लगता है कि बस अब like सब में घुल गए हैं जैसे अभी it's just everything is becoming same. So no matter how much understanding is there, they will understand. They will probably never complain about it. They will never say anything to you. They will not complain about it. Even if your wife will do this to you, you will also not complain about it. But मन तो होगा ही ना कि ऐसा हो, ताकि कभी कभी 2 मिनट बैठने के लिए ऐसे मिले तो just make time around these kind of things, and make it a priority. कि sometimes like today we don't want the kids or the pets to come and sit between us and all that. So so sometimes you set the healthy boundaries also around it if you have other people in the house as well. So make it a priority. So when you make the other person priority, they feel special. कि आज आज ऐसे किया है. So even let's say कि um, we were talking about the chores that we were doing. So helping your partner, let's say if she's doing the cooking and you want to help her, it's fine. So वो तो एक बात है कि you are helping her to in the household chores. That's one thing. Here we are saying take. So maybe one day you just tell them, no, you go sit, and today I'm going to make something very special. So or they can hang around in the kitchen as well. But you do something special. you make them feel special. So ऐसा ordinary रोज जैसे दाल चावल वाला नहीं है. Like someday you just maybe you check the recipes on YouTube and find like a very exclusive recipe that you also have not tried before, and you just say आज ये बनाएंगे, आज I'll make this for you and all that. And sometimes your wife does something that kind of special. So once in a while doing that is what makes the other person feel I'm still desirable, I am still valued, I'm still special. ऐसे नहीं है, टेकन फॉर ग्रांटेड नहीं हो गया कि इतने दिन तो हो गए शादी को तो अभी क्या है. So that's the thing. Yes, Thirumala, you wanted to say something. Your hand is up. You can unmute and talk.
Yes, Sachin. Thank you for letting me share. Am I audible?
You are.
Thanks. I think that we're speaking about the men and women relationship, between husband and wife, and father to daughter, or mother to son. Am I right? Just to understand how to understand the opposite gender. Am I right?
We are talking about flirting in a committed relationship.
Flirting, yeah. So the one thing which I need to add up here is like the people who ever read the book called "Men Are from Mars, Women Are from Venus," they would understand what type of relationship that they were dealing up with. So there is a wonderful explanation given by Mr. John Gray, who is the author of that book. What it says, like female, especially like when it comes to flirt and part, female are from different planet, and men are from different planet. They need to understand each other, their attributes, what they actually want, what they want not to be. So if we understand all the sequences, like we are, the men are slave for women since the dawn of this, since the inception of this planet. So whatever they are asking for, whatever we need to satisfy them, they're saying each and every promising words. Like if she says, "Hey, you know what? I would like to go in a car." We need to work hard for that. They don't require anything much. They don't want me to get helicopter. They don't need to get me in aircraft, but they'll have a little desire that we need to fulfill upon. So that is the birthplace of their relationship with you. They will start feeling special every day, even though if you do nothing, but you need to satisfy at least one of her goal, her lifetime goal. So I think this is the psychological part where you can understand how the females are treated special when it comes to satisfying with their partners. It's not all about sex. It's sex is there, yeah, I do understand, but their inner connection is really important than a physical connection. So this is what I want to share, and let me listen to this conversation. Yeah, thank you for letting me share.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you for your share. Yes, we are almost coming to close the conversation. Is there anyone else who wants to say something, or I don't have anything more to add to this? Anamika, do you have anything more? Anyone wants to say anything?
Yeah, Sachin, Mini here. Yeah. I was listening, all of you are talking about the flirting. I would say that for especially with my life partner, so he was seeing me from my age 13, because he was my brother's best friend. So when we got married, just before that, when I was asking him, don't you want to know more about me, then he will tell that, oh, I know everything. Your brother used to tell everything about you, so I know everything, so I don't have to ask anything. But little felt disappointed, but I want to know. But I don't want to put the questions like an interview board. If you also want to know something, then I can also ask. I used to feel like that, but later in the marriage, I found that he's a very quiet person. He's very quiet person, which really was making like I am a chatterbox and the other one is really very quiet. So I was really feeling, oh no, I should not disturb. I should not disturb. But then, in the long run, I found that no, it's not exactly that he is quiet, and that doesn't mean that he's not interested in me. He is observing everything. Even small thing, when I am forgetting, he will tell that, yeah, oh, your friend has told this, or your colleague has told this. Uh, so he's very much seeing all the very minute points also. So that was really something which really making me more connected with him, and the small talks whatever it is doing with me, I was seeing that, oh, it's not like just a small things he's speaking. There are volumes behind it. He is observing, he is seeing. And one more thing for me, it's like I have observed that more than sometimes the flirting, what he is asking is the quiet moments. Certain quiet moments he will ask, like when he is driving a car, if I am sitting, he doesn't want me to talk to anyone else at that time. I can talk to him, but he doesn't want me to talk to anyone else at that time. For him, that is the flirting, means be with him quietly. Again, to the bedroom, he always used to tell me that don't bring your company or colleagues or anyone here. It's just quiet. Okay, be quiet and be with me. Okay, but I have seen that in some Sundays and all. Sometimes I used to give classes to some friends. It may be male or female or whomever it is. That he's okay. He also will listen to that, and just he will tell that also after that. If it is someone who is male, I'm giving a class to that person, and then it's like both are talking and really enjoying that class. After that, he will just pinch me by telling that, oh, that your boyfriend, whether he understood everything whatever you taught. So he is okay for that. So I feel that between the two people, it's like an understanding. Whether you're talking or not talking, it is an understanding that communicating. The flirting for me, it is all about all this. That's it.
That's very good point you have mentioned, and I agree with this point also, that this element of showing a little bit of jealousy to each other also is in a way showing that you are still finding the other person desirable. So if you are getting jealous about something, if you are getting, so little bit of possessiveness and little bit of jealousy is healthy. The other person feels that they are desired. नहीं तो sometimes क्या होता है कि if we are not showing, अगर है मतलब I'm not saying showing in the word कि as if you have to show it if you're not feeling. So I'm not talking from manipulation point of view. I'm saying many times what happens that in अंदर से तो हमको ऐसा jealousy या possessiveness feel हो रही होती है, but we don't want to show it to the other person. We want to just keep it cool, like ऐसे ऊपर से ऐसे रखना. तो the other person might get this message कि ये तो फर्क ही नहीं पड़ रहा है कुछ, it doesn't matter. So they might find that in a way unattractive also. कि like this person is not even flinching a little bit. And it could actually turn a little bit ugly from the angle that your partner might start to do things just to make you more jealous, just to get that reaction out of you. So it can turn a little unhealthy also. So acknowledge that a piece of jealousy and possessiveness is healthy, as long as you're not um, उनको बांध के नहीं रख रहे, शक नहीं कर रहे हैं, और you're not unnecessarily questioning the other person and all that. So वो नहीं है तो it's fine. थोड़ी बहुत jealousy और थोड़ी बहुत possessiveness तो होनी चाहिए, और वो दिखानी भी चाहिए, क्योंकि that keeps the other person feel कि I'm desired. This person still loves me that much, and मतलब jealousy हो रही है, possessiveness हो रही है, तो वो कहीं ना कहीं तो उस point आ रही है ना. तो this is healthy to have this and to show this as well. to your partner. Just make sure you don't go overboard with that thing.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing, Minnie. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool. We'll wrap it now. It's 6:05.